mysterious powers, and unbelievable real-life videos of people doing the impossible. The humans in today's compilation have never been seen before.
This is a newspaper published in 2027. Revolution in the medical field.
In California, back in 2017, park security cameras captured something that shouldn't have been possible. A man appeared, literally appeared in the middle of an empty pathway. 1 second, nothing. The next, he was just there, standing still before calmly walking toward the woods. Then, just as suddenly, he vanished again. Investigators couldn't trace him, and there were no edits or cuts in the footage. Some say it was teleportation. Others believe he might have slipped through time itself. Lifting the impossible. There's this guy who once told his friends he had super strength. Naturally, they laughed. So to prove it, he took them to an open field where a huge rock was half buried in the ground. Everyone thought it was just for show until he actually started lifting it. The rock slowly rose out of the dirt, and his friends went completely silent. But then came the real shocker. He stepped on top of the rock, didn't even touch it, and somehow it began to rise on its own. That's not strength, that's something else entirely. Women's strength. Anne and Julia might look like ordinary women, but these two are something else. In this viral clip, they're seen casually lifting and throwing entire car engines like it's nothing.
So, Ann-Kathrin und ich waren letzte Woche auf der Deutschen Meisterschaft im Krafttraining.
And right after that, they even flip an actual car. It's hard to believe, but they really make it look effortless, and watching them in action makes you wonder if women have been hiding superhuman strength all along. Old man's power. In a small town in China, locals gathered around an elderly man who claimed he could burn paper without ever touching it. Most laughed it off until he actually did it. Standing a few feet away, he focused on the sheet, and within seconds, smoke began to rise from the center. The paper burned through perfectly, leaving a clean hole. Witnesses couldn't explain it. This old man definitely defied logic, and since it was in front of witnesses, it's hard to say this was staged. And nothing is behind the paper as well. So how did he actually do it? Comment below. Water control ritual. Somewhere in Nepal, a group of monks gathered for what looked like a sacred ritual. They sat in rows, holding a thread that ran between them, believed to connect their spiritual energy. The abbot, sitting at the front, began chanting softly while making slow, deliberate hand movements over a bowl of water. Then, something unreal happened. The water started rippling and swirling, as if following his every gesture. The moment he stopped, the water stilled again. Whether it was focus, faith, or something beyond science, the scene was hypnotic to watch. Paper power. Meet Young Chen, a Chinese trainer who seems to have unlocked something straight out of a superhero movie. He can hold a piece of paper in his hand and make it burn without using matches or anything else. Just pure focus. I showed a similar clip earlier of an old man doing something like this, but Yang took it even further. He didn't just scorch the paper, he completely burned it to ash. It's strange how many people in China seem to have these unusual abilities. If you've heard how they do it, drop it in the comments. We need to know. Girl from future. A mysterious girl came from the future and surfaced online with a mind-bending claim.
My name is Rebecca. I was born and raised in Italy.
This happened in 2022, and although she was born in 2006, she came from the future. She revealed that in 2028, she worked for a medical research firm, Lab Geo.
As I said, immediately after graduating from the university, I received an invitation from that company to start working there.
Until a failed experiment forced her to flee using a prototype time machine. Her most shocking evidence? She shared detailed photos of future newspapers from 2027 featuring headlines about Mars colonization and breakthroughs in advanced AI technology. The internet went wild. Some dismissed her as a fraud, while others couldn't ignore the eerie specificity of her claims.
This is a newspaper published in 2027. Revolution in the medical field.
Man with glowing hands. In Hong Kong, what began as an ordinary street video turned into something straight out of a science fiction movie. While a photo shoot was happening, people noticed a man in the background. His hands were glowing. At first, it seemed like a camera trick, but then his reaction gave it away. Even he looked shocked. Moments later, chaos broke out as the cameraman and the glowing man started running. One chasing, one escaping. But the real shock came when the man almost got hit by a bus and vanished. Just like that, he reappeared on the other side of the road, staring down at his own hands in disbelief. And that's where the footage ended. Library powers. Inside a quiet library in South Korea, a woman noticed something off about the man reading in front of her. Every few seconds, the pages of his book flipped on their own. Thinking it was a trick, she started recording. But when he suddenly turned and looked straight at her, her phone slipped from her hand. She stopped filming right away, but the short clip she got was enough to make her wonder, had she just caught a real-life telekinetic on camera? China's water walker. In China, an elderly man made a bold claim that he could walk on water. Naturally, no one believed him until he proved it. Before a stunned crowd, he calmly ran across the surface as if the water was solid ground. Everyone went silent, unsure of what they'd just seen. The man didn't boast or explain. He simply did it in front of a crow's. Like this wasn't the first time. Some said it was spiritual power, others a secret martial arts technique. But to be honest, this looks really suspicious, as it would have made news all around the world. But anyway, so far, no one knows the actual reality of this incident. Digital palm. Technology's getting wild lately. It's like we're inching closer to science fiction. In this clip, a man draws a strange pattern on his palm, and suddenly, tiny lights start blinking beneath his skin. It looks like some kind of microchip has been embedded there. No wires, no devices, just glowing symbols lighting up his hand. People online have been guessing everything from biotech experiments to digital tattoos, but so far, no one's figured out what this really is. Woman levitates. This one stood out from all the telekinesis clips we've seen before, because this time, it wasn't a man.
Это не развод, не лохотрон, так что это мой первый урок.
In the video, a woman dressed in simple clothes is seen holding a stick. Then, slowly, her feet lift off the ground. She starts hovering like it's the easiest thing ever. At first, she seems to use the stick for balance, but after a few seconds, she lets go and just stays there, completely still in midair. She never shows her face, but whoever she is, she left everyone stunned with what looked like real levitation. Office outburst. At an office in Malaysia, a worker started acting strange during a heated argument. His co-worker began recording, thinking it'd just be another workplace meltdown. But what happened next made everyone freeze. The man waved his hand angrily, and the computer on his desk slid across the table by itself. Then, without touching a thing, he motioned again, and the door slammed shut. It was like his emotions started something beyond his control. Sky launch. A viral video has left people completely speechless. It shows a man casually sitting on the roadside, looking calm and ordinary, until suddenly he goes straight up into the sky. No wires, no editing cuts, nothing visible at all. He just launches upward and disappears. The internet exploded with theories. Some say he's a time traveler, others think it's a superhuman ability. Personally, I'm going with the superhuman angle, because that was no regular jump. Vanishing shadow. A man and his wife were filming a magic trick at home, using a canvas and a hanging bulb to cast their shadows. They joined hands under the light, forming one perfect silhouette. Then, they let go, expecting both shadows to disappear at the same time. But what happened next freaked everyone out. The man's shadow vanished instantly, while his wife's shadow stayed for a few seconds.
1, 2, 3, go.
Still perfectly visible. She stepped back, clearly shaken. Nobody knows what kind of trick that was, but viewers swear there's no simple explanation. Superhuman strength. The following footage was recorded by a construction worker who wanted to show something utterly unbelievable. One of the construction workers had such impressive strength that he managed to lift and move a 4-ton truck. The video captures him casually moving it to the side without much trouble, making this video one of the strangest things ever seen on tape. Texas time traveler? While waiting at a red light in Texas, a driver started filming to show how frustrated he was at the traffic, but what he caught was something totally different. As a man crossed the road, he suddenly vanished right in front of a passing car, leaving no trace at all.
Where did he go?
The driver replayed the footage dozens of times, but the man was just gone. Of course, there were multiple online theories, from a time traveler caught on camera to a real-life glitch in the Matrix. Whatever the truth, it's one of those clips that make you question everything you know about reality. Power of the mind. This man shocked everyone when he casually demonstrated what looked like real telekinetic powers. Placing a pen between his hands, he made it move, without touching it. Then, focusing harder, he held it suspended midair with one hand steady, defying gravity entirely. People watching were stunned, unsure if it was a trick or something much more real. Floating stranger. Somewhere in an undisclosed forest in Indonesia, a man was caught levitating several feet above the ground. At first glance, it almost looked peaceful, like he was meditating, but let's be real. No one meditates midair. The person recording tried to find a trick, maybe wires or camera glitches, but nothing looked off. What made it even stranger was how calm the man seemed, completely unaware or maybe uninterested that he was being filmed. Mysterious cloud figures. While flying over Europe, a passenger recorded something that left everyone on the plane speechless. Far outside the window, several tall, human-like figures appeared to be standing motionless on top of the clouds. The shapes weren't perfectly clear, but their outlines looked too defined to be random shadows. The idea that something or someone could be up there watching from above has since sparked endless theories online. Floating man. Captured in a discreet, unknown location, a mysterious man recorded himself for YouTube to show something unreal. Real-life levitation.
I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Not only was he floating above the ground, but he was slowly moving through the air like he'd completely mastered gravity. It looked effortless, calm, almost too real to be a trick. Locals say he's been practicing this technique for years in secret, and if that's true, it might just be one of the most convincing levitation videos ever recorded. Shapeshifter. In Indonesia, a motorcyclist's dashcam captured a moment straight out of a legend. He noticed a man dressed in white running strangely along a deserted road. Everything seemed off. his movements, his speed, and then, out of nowhere, the man transformed into a dog. Startled, the rider turned his bike around, but the creature started chasing him. The video ends with the sound of the engine roaring and the man's heavy breathing. Many believe this wasn't just an illusion, it was a real encounter with a shapeshifter. Mind over matter. At a Starbucks of all places, one man casually performed what looked like telekinesis. A tissue paper sat on the table, and with just a few subtle hand gestures, he made it move, shifting and twisting through the air like it was weightless. Other customers didn't even notice. They just sipped their coffee while he made the impossible look routine. It wasn't flashy or exaggerated, just smooth, controlled, and strangely believable. Glowing Portal Man. This next clip from a shopping mall in Mexico is one of the strangest disappearances ever caught on camera. A man and his wife were parking their car when they noticed a glowing circle forming near the edge of the lot. Curious, he walked toward it as his wife recorded from a distance. The man stepped inside and the light instantly collapsed in on itself. He was gone. Authorities searched for hours, but found nothing. No tracks, no trace, just empty space where the portal had been. One-hand crew. Over in Portugal, a tourist had one of the wildest nights of his life. While heading home, he spotted a group of guys gathered around a car, but what happened next didn't make any sense. They were lifting the car using just one hand each, like it weighed nothing.
Oh, hell no. That's crazy.
He stopped in disbelief, watching them laugh like it was the easiest thing ever. Maybe it was a trick, or maybe they weren't exactly normal. Whatever the case, that's not something you see every day unless you hang out with actual superhumans. But I think I have an explanation for this. Watch this next clip. Super soldiers. I think I found your Captain America or Captain's America. Haha, no, I am just joking with you. This is a tactic that was deployed by Winston Churchill. He ordered inflatable tanks and other things to be used in order to trick Germans during World War II. It sure does look convincing. Floating mastery. This man had been practicing telekinesis for years, determined to take it to a new level, and he actually did. He first lay flat on the ground, completely still, then slowly started to lift into the air. Everyone around him was shocked, and just when it seemed impossible, he grabbed a skipping rope and began jumping while floating midair. It looked unreal, almost like he had mastered gravity itself. Telekinetic minister. During a parliament session in Argentina back in 2017, Minister Sergio Tomas was sitting quietly when he suddenly focused on a water bottle in front of him. A second later, the bottle tipped over without him even touching it. The entire moment was caught live on camera, and what made people uneasy was the faint smile on his face afterward, almost as if he knew exactly what had happened. Mysterious trail figure. A farmer in Texas set up a trail camera back in 2024 to keep an eye on wildlife, but one night it caught something completely different. The footage starts with a few foxes near the edge of the property. Then, out of nowhere, a strange, human-shaped blur rushes past the camera. The foxes freeze for a second, then suddenly run toward it, disappearing into the dark. When the farmer checked the spot later, there were no footprints, no tracks, nothing. Netizens said it could be something paranormal. However, the most believable explanation was that the figure's movement looked digital, like a visual glitch or a computer render. Street portal. In the suburbs of Uttar Pradesh, India, a CCTV camera recorded something that still baffles viewers. Around 9:30 p.m., a strange light appeared in the middle of the street, then, out of nowhere, a figure came running out of it. The person looked like a man, but his body wasn't fully visible, almost transparent, as if fading in and out of reality. What's even stranger is that no one nearby seemed to notice him at all. Experts tried analyzing the footage using different software, and the portal itself was still visible, making it hard for anyone to call this simple video editing. Midnight appearance. This strange clip from Idaho shows something that's hard to explain. Just after midnight, a tall figure suddenly appeared out of nowhere, right in the middle of the yard. The shape looked like a woman with long hair, slowly materializing as if she stepped through thin air. The homeowner only found this by accident after checking the CCTV backup when the system mysteriously stopped working the next day. Some say it could be a simple glitch, but others can't ignore how real the figure looks. The second face. They say Edward Mordick was born with something no one could ever understand. A second face growing on the back of his head. It couldn't eat or speak, but it could cry and smile. At night, it whispered things only he could hear. Dark, cruel things. No doctor dared to remove it, fearing what might happen. People thought it was harmless, but Edward swore it mocked him when he was sad, and laughed when he cried. The whispers never stopped, and when it finally became too much, he left behind a note describing his torment, but that note was never found. Stretch shot. Everyone was hyped during a regular basketball match until one moment stopped the crowd. A player made a quick shot, and at first, it seemed like pure skill, but in the slow